You know, pictures have a funny power. Just recently, I was sitting with my kids looking at some old pictures that we have on the refrigerator. I mean, I'm talking really old, from my grandmother she sent a long time ago. And there's a single picture of me as a toddler watching my grandfather, my grandpa, working on his car from way back in the old days. This was like late 1970s. And that opened up the floodgates of family stories. And suddenly my kids were asking questions about, what was life like back then? And just like that, we were connected across three generations: my kids, me, my grandparents. Actually, that'd be four generations. Okay. And yeah, I've got the picture right here. See that little guy? That's me. Watching my grandpa working on his car. So the thing is, a picture isn't just a snapshot. It's a story waiting to be told. And describing a picture in English, well, that's like tying a bow tie. It takes a little structure, a little practice, and suddenly it all begins to come together. So you can try this yourself. Pick any photo on your phone. Do it tonight. Practice saying one or two or three sentences about it. Short and simple and powerful. Perfect for building confidence every day. It gives you something to talk about. And that's what we're talking about today. Today I'm going to show you how to talk about pictures like an expert without freezing up or sounding awkward. So stick around, because at the end you'll not only have the words and the structure to describe any picture with confidence, you'll also discover a timeless phrase in the Mastery Minute about pictures that still shapes the way we communicate today. Let me introduce you and tell you about May. That's not May in the picture. May is one of my students. And as she was preparing for an English exam, one of those tests that you need if you want to study abroad or qualify for a better job like TOEIC or IELTS. Now, these exams often include a picture description task, which can be a real challenge because it's checking whether you can use descriptive words and organize your thoughts clearly. So one day, practice day, May was looking at a photo of a busy street market, and she really just panicked and said things like, oh, there's people and there's shopping and many things. So her English was okay, but her description came across as really flat and incomplete. The examiner couldn't really see the picture through her words. Now, fortunately, this was just practice. So I worked with her on a simple framework, just a few key phrases. And the next time she described the scene like this. In the foreground, I see a woman selling fresh fruit. Behind her, there are several people walking through the market. The atmosphere feels lively and colorful. See how much of a difference that is? It's simple, it's clear, and it's also confident. So a little structure goes a long way to helping you go from nervous and mumbling to actually starting to paint a picture with your words. So the question now is, how do you do it? All right, let's break it down together. So I'm going to share my top tips and tricks to help you confidently describe any picture in English so you can impress your friends and sound like a pro. We're going to cover 4 basic steps to this framework. See, most people who are learning English, they either give too little detail or they give too much, and both can be overwhelming. The trick is balance. So let's get into it. We're going to break it down step by step. And this works for photos and paintings. So the steps are simple. You're going to start broad, then zoom in, then add details, and finally share your impressions about it. Okay. We'll get deeper into it here in a second. And again, this covers photos, paintings, or even a chart at work. Yeah, it works for everything. So let's start with step one, starting broad. Now here's the problem that most people face. They dive straight into random details and their description sounds scattered. The solution is starting broad. Give your listener the big picture before zooming in. This makes your description clear and easy to follow. So set the stage. You can use phrases like, this picture shows, or in this image we can see what? For example, look at the picture on the slide there. This picture here, this picture shows a group of people having a picnic in the park. See what I gave a very general, broad over understanding of the picture. Why does this work? It works because you're setting the stage, just like when a movie starts with a wide shot. It gives your audience context and prepares them for the details that you'll share next. And once that stage is set, then it's time to guide your listeners' eyes closer, starting with what's in front and what's behind. So the next challenge is, once people set the scene, they often stay too general. So the problem is, when you stay general, your listener gets a blurry picture in their mind. So it's hard to imagine anything clearly. So what's the solution? Well, you zoom in. You show your listener what's closest and what's further away. This makes your description more vivid. So talk about what's in the foreground, what's closest to you, and then what's in the background, what's furthest away. For example, in this picture, in the foreground, there's a child flying a kite, and in the background, you can see tall buildings. Huh? It works, right? Because now you have a nice structure, front and back, foreground, background. It's like layers in a painting. So you're not just listing things off, you're guiding the listener's eyes step by step. So, first you start with what's close, then with what's far. Feels natural, like the way we actually look at pictures. And when you do it this way, your description transforms from flat and boring into something more three-dimensional, something your listener can visualize. And once you've mastered this layer by layer approach, then you're ready to bring the picture to life with more detail. And that's step 3, add details. Another big problem I see is that people stay too basic in their descriptions. They might say, there are people and there are buildings. The problem is that your listener gets bored. They can't really feel the picture. So the solution is to bring in details and help to bring the picture to life. What colors do you notice? What are the actions? What actions are happening? What emotions are visible? This will help to add richness to what your listener can imagine and visualize. So, for example, you might say the sky is bright blue and people look relaxed and happy. And this works because it creates an energy. A simple mention of a bright blue sky or a smiling face makes the scene feel more real in the listener's imagination. It's like adding a little seasoning to your food. The small touches make it memorable, okay? And then once you've added those details, then you're ready for the next step, sharing your own impressions. That's where you get to make it more personal. The final mistake that most people make is stopping at the facts. But a picture is more than just objects, right? It has mood and feeling and meaning. And the solution there is to share your impressions. How does it make you feel? What does it remind you of? So this step makes you and your description more unique, more personalized, right? What story does it tell? Because all pictures tell a story, right? So, like for example, you could say, "Wow, this picture feels really peaceful. It reminds me of my childhood summers." Yeah. So, the reason why this is important is because, anyone can list what's in a picture, but when you add your feelings, you're connecting with your audience. You're not just describing it, you're telling a story. And that's what makes you sound fluent and confident. So from here, we've got a few more minutes. Let's see how all these steps come together in one smooth description. And then we'll even explore a little fun modern tool you can use to practice. Okay, before we do that, what should you avoid? Okay, don't just list objects. There is a man. There is a dog. There is a tree. Well, those are all true statements. There's a man, a dog, and a tree in this picture. But instead, connect them. A man is walking his dog under a big tree. See, now there's action involved. It's much more natural. So it's not just about listing objects. That's kind of boring, right? So let's put the pieces together. Imagine this photo. You don't have to imagine it. It's right in front of you. It's a sunny park on a Saturday afternoon. So, step one, we start broad. This picture shows a family enjoying time at the park. Now, let's zoom in. In the foreground, there's two children playing soccer while their parents sit on a blanket behind them. Well, more like beside them, but close enough. Next, add details. The grass is bright green. The kids are laughing, and there's a colorful kite flying in the sky. Look at that. And finally, step 4, share your impressions. It does. It feels joyful, and it reminds me of my own weekends with my own family outdoors. So, see how the framework flows? It takes a flat picture and turns it into a story. So, how can you practice this? Well, try this. I love this. I use AI art generators all the time. Use an AI art generator. You can get them. You can get them on Google. There's one called Midjourney. Send me a message in the chat, and I'll give you my recommendation for good ones. Give it a description, like a boy flying a red kite in front of tall city buildings at sunset, and see what it creates. And then reverse the process, look at the picture, and describe it out loud. It's a fun way to do it. Look and describe. That's a way to sharpen your skills and test how clear your descriptions really are. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to show you really quick. I am. Hold on just a second. Let me see here. I'll change the screen and I'll open up that window. Okay, so this is an image generator that I use all the time. So let's try that tip. Okay, a child is playing in a field and flying a red kite. The sun is high in the sky, and there are buildings in the background. It's a fun feeling. Okay, did I just change my screen? I think I did. All right, let's try that again. Image. Enter. All right, now this is really interesting. You can do photo and illustration and 3D. You can do all kinds of different things. And then this site here, Gamma, actually allows you to choose your models as well. So there's many different models. We'll just do auto select and then generate our images. Let's see what comes up when we finish. It just takes us. I like this one because it works very quickly. So look, it's thinking. And we're going to start. Oh, look at that. There's some buildings in the background. There's a girl flying a kite. There's another one. Girl flying a kite in a field. She's very happy. And she's smiling. And there's a little bit of grass in front of her and buildings in the background. There's a third one there. So see, you can have fun with that. That's a lot of fun, right? I think it's a lot of fun. Okay, let's jump. Let's dive back into the rest of the story because we are running out of time. We're running out of time. So what is one of the favorite things? Or here's my question. You can drop in the chat. What's the last picture you described in English? And was it easy or difficult to describe? That's a good question, right? Drop your story down in the chat. I'd love to hear about it. Okay. All right. Uh-oh, I lost my slides. No, we're going to go too late. All right. So your challenge for today is pick one picture. Try a picture a day. Pick one picture, and it could be a picture on your phone. Maybe it's in a magazine. Maybe even better, try what I just did. Generate one with AI, and then describe it out loud using today's framework. Start broad, zoom in, add details, share impressions. Do this once a day, and then by the end of the week, you'll be amazed at how much better you are and how much more confident you sound. And you'll even help you clear your descriptions and get more accurate using the AI. Okay, and if this was a helpful video for you, I want you to do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, share it with a friend. You can read the full article at allaboutenglishmastery.com. There's a link in the description and in the chat. And if you've ever thought to yourself, I don't have time to take English classes or study for hours every day, this is for you. I built a 10-minute daily system for confident English at work. Check out Mastering English for Busy Professionals. It's a course that I've got. The link is also in the description. And don't forget to drop your questions in the chat because I'll be answering them live right after the Mastery Minute. Because guess what? It's time for the Mastery Minute. All right, we're over time again. That's okay. We're going to get through this. So let me paint this image for you. Imagine flipping through an old photo album and suddenly stopping at one picture. And without a single word, you remember the smell of the room, the voices of the people, and the feeling of that exact moment. That's the power behind today's phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words. There it is. I just messed it up. Now, this saying became really famous in the early 1900s, especially in advertising. Businesses discovered that one image could sell an idea faster than paragraphs of explanation. Why? Well, because our brains process images almost instantly. A photo or a picture can tell a story and trigger emotions, even convince someone to take action. I mean, think of a painting in a museum. You don't need a long description. It feels to feel its impact. Or in the business, a single chart can show success or failure for itself. I mean, in a glance. No words required. So, here's a quick example. During the meeting, the sales chart spoke for itself. Truly, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So what's the takeaway here? When you describe a picture, don't just name the objects. Share the story, the mood, and the meaning. A strong description, like a strong picture, leaves a vivid impression that sticks. It really is worth 1,000 words. All right, and I think I've gone over 1,000 words with this show. So tonight we learn how to describe pictures in English with confidence, using structure and details and personal impressions to turn a flat description into a vivid story. Next time we'll dive into a fun and practical topic: how to replace the phrase "I'm tired" with some fresh expressions, something to make you more engaging. You'll learn new ways to express how you feel without sounding boring or repetitive. You're not going to want to miss this one. All right. And if this episode, let me go back here. If this episode helped you out, remember, hit the like button and subscribe, share this with a friend, and ring the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. And with that, looks like we don't have any questions. I'm Dennis Wilborn, and this has been 15 Minute Mastery. See you on Wednesday.